Tonight, we're looking into another mass overdose in Penn North in Baltimore, the third in the past 3 months.
Yeah, nearly a dozen people were involved. At least 7 were taken to the hospital. And tonight, critics point to issues in the way Baltimore handles open-air drug markets. Fox 45's Keith Daniels has been following this story all night for us. He joins us live with an update now. Keith.
Well, Maxine, we've got an update from police at this hour. They say the victims taken from here range in age from 30 to 60 years old. That includes 6 males and 1 female, all of them with what police are calling non-life-threatening injuries. And tonight, the investigation continues. At Pennsylvania and North Avenues, a familiar, dangerous report from Penn North. Baltimore City Police confirming the bleak news, another mass overdose. They say there were 11 victims, with 7 of them taken to the hospital. 4 others refused transport. All of this happening just before noon Wednesday, with residents in the area, some say, not surprised.
When I see things like this, I keep coming and going because ain't no telling when the next one is going to happen. Like it's all day, every day.
This is the same area where dozens of people were taken to hospitals after a mass overdose in July. 27 people hospitalized in that incident. The cause was believed to be fentanyl mixed with sedatives, according to federal officials. There were no deaths reported at that time. And despite a drop in overdose-related deaths last year, according to city officials, these recent mass overdoses in Penn North show there's still a serious problem with the issue. Residents at Penn North speculating, believing a bad batch of drugs continues to be the culprit, with little help, they say, coming from city leaders.
No, they're only showing up because of incidents like this. Very rarely you see those guys come here, to help us. We need help. I want to see some changes, right? Because me, for myself, I don't want to die in this neighborhood.
The mayor's office did release a statement that reads in part, the mayor's office of neighborhood safety and engagement has maintained a presence on the ground at Penn North in recent months and will continue to provide resources and support to residents. Teams were also on the scene with life-saving medication used to reverse an opioid overdose. Still, community activist Kenny Abram.
This happening every day up here.
Among those critical of the mayor's administration's response to the opioid crisis, including this latest incident.
And you see the mayor and them put a lot of effort in it, like this is a mass overdose that's going on. It's a performance. Yeah, it's the city trying to get some government money, grant money. It's funded. They want to put a new building up here as well. Or some kind of drug treatment building that they want to put up here where they get funded for that.
Well, police say they're focused on identifying the source of these overdoses. They're asking anyone with information to call them. You can call Metro Crime Stoppers. If you do that, remember, you can remain anonymous. The number here on your screen. We're live now at Penn North. Keith Daniels, Fox 45 News.
I'm Kai Jackson. Thank you for watching. Here's another video to watch. Also, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Lindsay Davis. Thanks so much for streaming with us. President Trump has announced the first phase of the Israel-Hamas peace plan. Trump posted on Truth Social, "I'm very proud to announce that Israel and Hamas have both signed off on the first phase of our peace plan. This means that all of the hostages will be released very soon, and Israel will withdraw their troops to an agreed-upon line as the first step toward a strong, durable, and everlasting peace. All parties will be treated fairly. This is a great day for the Arab and Muslim world, Israel, all surrounding nations, and the United States of America. And we thank the mediators from Qatar, Egypt, and Turkey who worked with us to make this historic and unprecedented event happen. Blessed are the peacemakers. This came after today at the White House. President Trump was handed a note from Secretary of State Marco Rubio about a potential peace deal between Israel and Hamas. That note said that they need the president to approve a social media post so he can announce first. Here's what Trump had to say about this after he was handed that note.
I was just given a note by the Secretary of State saying that we're very close to a deal in the Middle East, and they're going to need me pretty quickly. We'll take a couple of more questions.
Hamas has released a statement saying, in part, we highly appreciate the efforts of our mediating brothers in Qatar, Egypt, and Turkey. We also value the efforts of U.S. President Donald Trump, who seek to bring about a definitive end to the war and a complete withdrawal of the occupation from the Gaza Strip. The families of the hostages also released a statement saying, in part, the families of the abductees would like to express their deep gratitude to the President of the United States, Donald Trump, and his team for the leadership and determination that led to a historic breakthrough, an end to the war, and a comprehensive agreement to return all abductees. We will not rest or be silent until the last kidnapped person is returned. And just a short time ago, President Trump and Netanyahu spoke by phone, congratulating each other on the, quote, historic achievement. Our Marcus Moore joins us once again from Tel Aviv. Marcus, let's just talk again about the significance of this agreement, this really momentous occasion.
Yeah, Lindsay, very significant, certainly, not only for the region, indeed, but certainly for the families whom we've met here in Israel, who, since this war began and their loved ones were kidnapped, taken hostage, they have prayed for their loved ones to be returned safely. And they've also taken to the streets of Tel Aviv and Jerusalem and other cities, calling for leaders to make a deal and come to an agreement to secure their release and also bring about an end to this war. So for there to be a word of this agreement, not only coming from President Trump, but also Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and leaders from across the Arab world, it really is the first sign of what could perhaps be, many people feel, could be the beginning of the end of this war after 2 years. And Lindsay, it has been, as you know, a very difficult time for those families here in Israel, but also for the countless families in Gaza who have struggled to survive, and the death toll now over 67,000 people. Now, when we talk about the agreement that has been that's been made tonight, it has not been signed, but a word is that there has been agreement. It calls for the immediate release of the remaining hostages, 48 of them, and 20, Lindsay, are believed to still be alive. It also calls for the IDF troops who are in Gaza, who have been carrying out military operations, for them to withdraw to an agreed upon line. But Lindsay, at this hour, we don't know the specifics or the details of where those troops will withdraw to, and also how this exchange might happen. But certainly this is encouraging news for so many across this region and really across the globe who have been hoping and praying for some resolution.
Indeed, and we have heard from the White House that release could happen, that exchange could happen as early as Monday. So, Marcus, where do we stand in terms of Palestinian statehood? Does Israel win that fight for now? Because there remains little talk about the livelihood of that even enough dozens of countries recognized a Palestinian state at the UN's recent General Assembly session.
Yeah, well, I mean, it certainly is something that will be discussed. It is certainly among the key demands of Hamas and others across the region. And as you noted, several countries across the globe now recognize Palestine. And so I think the focus right now is getting the first phase of this going, and that is what has been agreed upon. In terms of what happens in the days ahead, those are the details that will certainly be a part of very impassioned and deep discussions and negotiations. But that's later on down the road, right? But certainly it is a key demand and a key issue that will have to be addressed. And certainly when you consider the pressure that Prime Minister Netanyahu has been under domestically, here internally, members of his own government who certainly say that they're should not be, there cannot be a Palestinian state. And so certainly here internally, the Prime Minister will have time now to approach that subject, and it won't be an easy one, as you well know. But I think at this hour, it's important to remember that what we are talking about, this agreement, is only on the first phase.
Marcus Moore for us in Tel Aviv. Marcus, thank you. Our senior White House correspondent, Selena Wang, joins us now. Selena, we've heard it again and again from a number of people today, really giving credit to President Trump for getting this deal over the finish line. What are you hearing from your sources with regard to President Trump's role in getting both parties to sign off on at least the first phase of this peace plan?
Well, certainly this is an enormous moment for the world, but also for this administration, a big win for the president, who has been very personally involved in this, Lindsay. He had been really putting the pressure on Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu to sign off on this deal. And you spoke about how the two leaders just spoke not too long ago. It was described as an emotional and warm conversation from the Prime Minister's office. And they also congratulated the group to have. But of course, the mediators of Qatar, Egypt, and Turkey also playing a critical role in bringing this together. And we're learning a little bit more from a senior White House official about what this timeline could look like. They say their assessment is that the hostages could start getting released on Monday. The senior official telling me that this deal goes to the Israeli cabinet tomorrow. Once they vote yes, Israel then has to withdraw to the line, which they say should take under 24 hours. Then they say the 72-hour clock begins. They said Hamas will try to go earlier if possible, and then they expect Monday is when those hostages will start getting released. Now, the president today also said that he may travel to the Middle East himself as well in the coming days. He didn't even rule out potentially going to Gaza as well, Lindsay.
Selena Wang for us. Thanks so much, Selena. Joining us now is Greg Roman, the executive director of the Middle East Forum. Thank you so much for joining us. First, just give us your initial reaction to hearing this news of the agreement.
I think there's a great degree of elation which is taking place here in Israel tonight, 3 a.m., with social media feeds of all the families of the soon-to-be released hostages exploding with joy. And there's a point right now where 2 years have gone by, 2 years in one day, for them to finally receive news of their loved ones returning home. But there's definitely danger brewing on the horizon after this exchange of 20 live hostages, 28 bodies, and unfortunately, 1,700 Palestinian terrorists who have been convicted for not just small petty crimes, but masterminds behind suicide bombings, those responsible for mass casualty attacks. And I think what we're seeing here is, while it's important to release the hostages, you also have a new wave of leadership that will be replenishing Hamas's ranks with the exchange to take place this weekend.
You talked about people there waking up in Israel to this news of a deal. What kinds of commentary are you hearing?
There's just happiness across the board. There have been families who have been waiting for this, advocating for their release in Brussels, in Washington, D.C., in Jerusalem, hundreds of thousands of individuals on the streets trying to be able to plead for their loved ones to be able to be freed after that horrendous event that took place 2 years ago. But there's also whispers in the cabinet halls, there's discussions in the National Security Council, and also in the halls of the General Staff of the Kiryat, which is equivalent to Israel's Pentagon, saying that they're not sure how this is going to affect Hamas, or the aims of the war were to destroy the organization. And unfortunately, it looks like they're going to live another day.
You mentioned your concerns about those Palestinians who will be released, the prisoners in this exchange. What makes you confident, or what might give you hope that this deal can lead to lasting peace in the region?
Well, I think it's sort of a two-sided coin. On one hand, you have Turkey and Qatar, two countries that oppose Hamas's military and political wings, present at the negotiating table. And if I can have trust in President Trump, which I do as it relates to this deal, this is only phase one. The second phase is supposed to disarm Hamas, and the third is to excise them from the Gaza Strip. Now, this may be a play for these two countries to help Hamas disarm and to become part of the regular Palestinian political umbrella. But on the other hand, these two countries have also facilitated attacks from their soil on Israeli and American citizens, both in Israel and other areas across the region. So the other side of that coin is that those two countries were at the negotiating table, not to help Hamas move towards disarmament, but to help them live another day.
I was at.
Yes. We back in the building with another blog called Sagnar. Yes. We back in the building with another podcast vlog, and this is RDP, aka Raw Dope Podcast, and I'm your host for the night, Hand 5000. Trying to jump back in the algorithm. I told y'all, no matter what time of day, what time of morning, I'm gonna jump up here, man, and support my people. Hey, listen. I think it's 17. It's 17? If I need 17 new subscribers. I need 17 new subscribers. When I get these 17 new subscribers, I'll be at 5,600. You know what I mean? I would wish the board was right here so I can give it a round of applause. So 17 more subscribers. If you fucking with me, become 17 more subscribers. We'll be at 5,600. We on our way to 10K. Usually we should be saying we on our way to 1 million, but we got to get to 10K before we can start the 100K run. But we on our way to 10K. So please, if you walking in here, hit that notification button, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, leave a comment. We got Jim Jones on the chopping block, Young Jeezy on the chopping block. If you was here when this first opened up, we was talking about the overdose in Baltimore. I am from Baltimore City, and that Ferrari has took its toll down here. And then we have a neighborhood where it's most frequently for the IV and nostril users. And it was like 11 overdose, and it's not the first time. One day it was like 30 overdose. It happens. It's a normal thing down there, but that's not a normal thing for humanity, but it's a normal thing in our community. So I pray, and y'all pray for those individuals, man, that they beat their sicknesses and overcome their addiction, man, and get off the avenue. But and then we got open topics, man. We talk about a lot of shit, man. I ain't gonna keep y'all in here that long. Trolls, you more than welcome today. Trolls, y'all can do y'all things, because I ain't paying y'all no mind. So I had to get into it. Jim Jones, man. Everybody know I'm a Dipset fan. I'm a hip hop fan. I'm a hip hop connoisseur. I love hip hop. You get what I'm saying? So I watch dudes, especially older hip hop artists. You know what I'm saying? I come up in the 80s, 90 era hip hop. So I like my older dudes, man. The older dudes that was out in the 1900s, the early 2000s, and they still out here busting their moves, whether they doing podcasts, movies, writing books, flipping houses, whatever they doing. I like to see them, especially those ones that's still in the game, still maintaining their name. Jim Jones been holding it down. We gotta say Jim been on like a strong, like lately in his rebirth of hip hop. Jim been on like a 7-year run. Jim been on like a 7-year runs, regardless of the ups and downs. I don't know nigga financial status, but far as keeping content going, Jim Jones been going. And I would think that lately, the last couple years, Jim Jones been having a sensational run. You know what I'm saying? He been in his bag. But y'all know Jim Jones is an internet magnet. Artist to artist too. Shout out to Jim Jones for the artist to artist thing. I think that's going to take all too. And then he brought a building, put in the studio. And then he brought a content complex type shit. So Jim doing a bunch of stuff, flipping, you know what I mean? To donate to the community. He do a bunch of stuff outside of hip hop. But for Jim to be, 47, 48 years old, almost 50, Jim Jones be caught up in a lot of shit. And now he just on a chopping block, man, in the community that he claims the most, the blood community. You know what I mean? He started in the blood community. And is a big OG blood, supposed to be like one of the founding fathers, supposed to be like one of the big dogs on the East Coast. Jim told him to suck his, and they had to change the words on Twitter or whatever. So the OG want the fade, and then there's a whole bunch of other dudes talking trash about Jim. If Jim Jones, his career has always been in the muffle. You know what I'm saying? He always had controversy with it. You know what I'm saying? They say Jim shit pop. They say a lot of stuff about Jim, but overall, I like Jim Jones. I'm a true fan of Jim Jones, man. Shout out to Capo, the whole everything Capo got on Vamp Life, Dipset, all that. But Capo too old for some of the shit that he be in on the internet. And it's like the older Capo get, he embraced that shit. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to get in a couple clips, man. Hit that notification button, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, leave a comment. Trolls, you more than welcome, man. But we going to chop y'all head off if y'all get out of order. So we just going to type in the computer Jimmy and what they saying about Jim Jones and his beef and how he feel. And I don't even think Jimmy had like took to the internet. I don't know, because I really don't be, I stay away from, I told y'all, man, I stays away from social media. If I ain't posting, I don't give it as much time as I used to. Not at all. Like it's just too much with it. You know what I'm saying? If you like something, you leave a comment. People got something to say, man. I don't get too fussed about that shit, man. I'm a comment, like, do whatever, but it's not that serious to me. You paying to the this is what I say with people who stalk social media. You paying attention to the wrong thing, because if anybody doing something in the naked eye, that's not what they got going on behind the scenes. Trust me. You feel me? Nobody's but an idiot is writing their divorce papers, their life insurance policy, their security blanket. They're not going to put it all on social media. It's 65% of people that do, and it's that other 35% don't play like that. So one of my thing is, bro, pay attention to what you don't see and hear. If you see and hear it, that's, they're not trying to get away with it. You know what I mean? Like if you see and hear it, it's clear it's nothing there. You know what I mean? So let's get into it. My man Jimmy. Jim Jones name, man, though the real Jim Jones partner on Google when I was Googling the shit. But it's about to pop up. I'm quite sure Jimmy is he's trending. You got he's got beef with Hassan Cameron. You know, he just did and all this really started over the Fat Joe situation. You know what I mean? 10 hours ago, Whack 100 drops a bomb on Whack always. Yeah, I want to hear this. Whack always in the middle of something. CIO.
Dancing is her thing, and helping kids.
I told him, 5'8" ¾
But a car accident took that away from her.
I had to have a knee replacement because the pain was so great.
Yo,
So she called.
I'm a big fan of the Ninja Turtles. Hand me that Ninja Turtle poster. One of these trolls said something about Ninja Turtles. Hand me that Ninja Turtle poster. Yeah, I'm a Ninja Turtle fan, bro. I'm glad you said something. I'm glad you said something about Ninja Turtles type shit. You know what I mean? I'm kind of like a fan of the Ninja Turtles. Hey. So this is like a retro joint, since you want to throw the Ninja Turtle thing in. You know what I mean? That's like the retro joint. Read this joint. It's like a classic one too. This the original Turtles though, by the way, bro. So when you look at this, I collect stuff like that. That's original Turtles though. You know what I mean? It's original Ninja Turtles right there, bro. Original Ninja Turtle without a rat on it. There's no rat on this. See that? Original Ninja Turtle. You gotta play with somebody else. That's the original joint. This is a collector's item right here, buddy. It's a collector's item. That's why it's still in the plastic. That's the original Turtles. That's how they look. I know you seeing all the ripped up Turtles, but that's the original Ninja Turtles. Nah, man. Let me get back to Jim Jones, man. You can't pay attention to these guys. So you gotta give a little rhythm, and then you gotta just chill. You gotta let them have their way. Cho's gotta talk to. Oh man, what's this? Come on, bro. Play this shit.
Hey, you talking about drop a flag and it going on out here.
What's good, y'all? It's your boy, the Handsome Man. Them words I never thought I'd hear. I agree with Jim Jones. Now, there was a big falling out on the New York side for that red rag. You had Jim Jones getting asked by Joe what he thought about dropping the flag. Jim Jones indicating there's a war out here. This ain't no time for that. And then the OG Man Do going off. So let's listen to Man Do, and then we'll get to the rest of the content.
Let's listen to Man Do. Hit that notification button. Hit that subscribe button. What up?
To each his own. To each his own. I think it's a way to do everything. I think that the positive message that he's trying to push, he didn't have to drop his flag to do so. You heard? Like, we in a war right now. What war, Jim? Us being in the position and for the things that... Hold on. What war? This nigga said he in the war, okay? This nigga said he was in the war. The homie Hocus got to drop my flag challenge going on, right? And this bird right here, bird gang bird, right? Pigeon, park rat. You talking about the homie folks didn't have to drop his flag to deliver the message and his reason for not dropping the flag because
let's go.
Down more at war. Who wore this been in? What y'all he been in?
I want no retwist.
I just want to know your opinion because this thing on the internet. What's his name? Hocus 4/5.
What about it?
And all of them, they talking about the drop the flag challenge.
Well, here's the thing. This is why I don't get involved in out of town politics.
Yeah.
Because they think that we don't think, like, that's the total disrespect. We don't drop no flags. That's like disrespect
Hey, put
terminology.
this right there for me.
This is what's crazy, right? Hocus wasn't talking none of that because he caught that RICO. I just got a RICO he caught about 8 months ago, a sex money murder RICO, down in Savannah, Georgia somewhere, right? So he seems to think if he say, I'm heading to drop the flag, it's gonna help you. No, they put the flag where you had your flag, right? So, and on top of that,
Whack 100 rolling with Jim Jones. Whack 100 agrees with Jim Jones.
Right. Up here to the last thing you did up here was got played by Jay Trick, got the jury back, and then them ended up going to jail for the jury. They got this body. They did New York after you get the jury back. So you ain't, I don't get what that means. Now out here, you have to tell you, he don't gang bang no. Right. You ain't gonna hear him tell me he dropped his flag. Because that's like you throwing something away. And we always from where we from. The difference is you got New York claiming that they really ain't from.
I mean, dropping your flag, that might be a technical fact.
Grew up in our neighborhood. So whether we gang banging or not, that's where we're from regardless. Right. So we'll tell you we ain't gang banging. And there's a lot of niggas out here ain't gang banging. We come together and we help keep the peace. But a lot of terminology used in other places, it is different than all. The trips in Nebraska, they put their flags on the right and the blood to the left. Right? That's what they do. I'm not gonna argue with them. Nah, Trey gangster, everything Trey is crippin' out here, right? So, but that's their thing, right? But Hocus, I'm kind of with Jim Jones on what he said. You talking about drop a flag, and it's going on out here. Yeah, he's in the claim party. Can't expect nobody to cut nothing out while going on. This got an active RICO, sex, money, murder RICO, and all of a sudden, hey y'all, I'm doing the drop the flag challenge. I don't gangbang no more. You ain't been gangbanging. You've been in 45 minutes from the outskirts of Atlanta for the last 12, 13 years.
Do a little tailgate? Yeah. I've got Royal Farms.
Best tailgate ever.
Yo, Whack be getting involved in everything, don't he, y'all? Flee. The penguin.
Airwick's cordless essential mist diffuser's perfectly portable fragrance is great for inviting friends to come on over. It has a range of quick change scents for game day to fate night, so you can make every occasion to come over fragrant and inviting. Airwick, always fragrant.
Right. Literally, this is a fact. Right? So he's only doing that because he thinks it's gonna get him some type of favor. Not only that, remember I told you this. What Hocus is trying to tell all them other sex money residents from Georgia, you know what he gonna say? I was a civilian when I did it. That's why, remember I told you. He gonna be on the internet, hey man. And you know, he on the internet with some different people now. Like I know people and everything now. I'm telling you right now, bro. It's changing. Dude is lining up so when he tail, he gonna say he was a civilian.
Right.
Oh, nigga, when you got caught, you was sex, money, murder. With some other 30 days. Y'all don't bail. You're the only nigga out on bail. On the signature file. There's a lot of unexplainable shit that's happening. Yeah, I mean, you know, we all tell the youth not to gang bang. They push it out here for a very long time. You know what I'm saying? But the reason he's doing it is selfish reasons. It's initiative reason. So then I see the old dude, the Jim Jones, he ain't from wherever he's from. That ain't gonna work because even in real, he the one came out here to the city with everybody to really get an overall stamp on it. So that ain't gonna work. Y'all wasn't mail murder out. You talking about with Wacko? No, yeah, exactly. When he came out here and did all that. So if you weren't telling Jim Jones he wasn't from that back then, and it really was hot.
Right.
Dog and Wacko was the lady. Hot dog, rest in peace.
like Trippy
It's not Red Plug was the homeboy. Hot dog.
So we talking about from back in the days when they did that shit.
Yeah, hot dog. Yeah, exactly. So if y'all wasn't telling me we went from there back then, you can't tell him that today.
Right.
And y'all can spit all you want. Nigga, you ain't. Y'all wasn't saying that back then.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So that's hate. And I know what it looked like because I get it all the time. You know, that just be hate. He might have told them niggas know about something. We ain't gonna do something. And now they go screaming, come on, fight me then. And they be mad for them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you be mad. Yeah, cause that's how I work.
You know, and I see them, they calling Jimmy out.
So I follow him, I wouldn't even fight into that. The time for them to do that, 20 years ago.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If they didn't do that 20 years ago, when he came out with all them gangbang songs, you can't do that now.
All right, y'all, there it is, man. Now, if y'all know, if y'all follow the channel, y'all know I stay out of these particular politics coming up in Philly. I'm just not familiar. You know what I'm saying? We do it a little different. New York been doing it for over 30 years now. And then Cali been doing it originals, right? So I can't speak on it from their politic perspective, only from a maturity perspective when speaking about Jim Jones and what image you're promoting to these young people. And without being on the soapbox, to be your age and talking about war doesn't seem to really resonate well. Now, if you want to navigate the young people through the conflicts they having, because believe me, the streets of Philly are vicious, man. They just don't stop, right? But to say that you need to uphold your flag to continue and not break the cycle just seems a little counterintuitive coming from somebody who's been around as long as you, Jim. You know, I appreciate your loyalty. I get that part, but the message, you know, and then as far as man do, it just seemed like all that time behind the wall, he just knows it's all BS. You know what I'm saying? Like it can only end one way and never good. So, you know, we'll see what happens, man. Everybody reported on the Harlem Legend, Hassan, everybody, you know,
everybody.
050. You know, it's a New York thing. So I'm going to sit back and watch the show. If we have any updates from this end, I'll certainly provide them, man. Appreciate y'all tuning in. It's your boy Delta Hands. Until next time, we out.
So allegedly Jim Jones is in here. And the dude said he's doing the challenge. So, you know, we just, like I said, I just like to do research. We get a little bit of it. So he basically saying, dude saying, you know, he's an older dude. And this dude, these are not, by the way, these dudes that we're talking about right now are not young individuals. These dudes are 40 and over. And that the big blood dude, he like 50 something over. And, you know, I get it, you know, drop the flag. But in their protocol, you can't do that. You know what I mean? You could, like Wax said, you know, you could say you ain't banging no more, but dropping your flag is like ultimately disrespect. That's like a military dude dropping an American flag in war. Like, it's just certain things you can't do it. You can say I'm not in the military, but you ain't dropping the flag. Like, that's just not the way it goes. So they want to squabble, they want to do everything. You know, like you said, Jim, I wasn't paying no mind. But one thing I can say about the boy Jim Jones, man, he stay into it. He don't be backing down, bro. So, you know, do you want to say he never been in no fight? He bought his big homie over, all that stuff, man. That's that gang politic. But I feel like Jim, man, he in his bag, bro. He dropping music, bro. He buying, you know, commercial properties. He been getting money for a long time. And I think, you know, 2026 coming in, man, I like to see Capo focus more on the business and, you know, that politics, you know, what he love and what he believe in and what he stand for. I hope to see him like fall back from that shit. Like, you get older, Jim, you know what I'm saying? You know, get into your Snoop Dogg bag. Like, Snoop Dogg is like the richest, realest crip ever. He don't never get caught up in this. You know what I mean? Like, bro. You know what I mean? So that's what it is. Hit that notification button, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, leave a comment. I got listen to this though. This is it. Federal nightmares. This is dirt shit. I ain't heard my man in a while. Trenches News. You know, he give you if you ever want to know what's going on with Chicago and what's going on in Iraq, you gotta tap into Trenches News. I don't know the guy personally, but I know he stay knee deep in that Trenches News from Chicago. You know what I'm saying? You know, and I believe 80% of that shit he be saying, I be backpedaling and checking it out. It be true. You get what I'm saying? To be true. He keep a mask on his face. So I know whatever Trenches News reporting is true. That 80% of it, I mean, I know he throw his salt in the tank, but 80% of that shit Trenches News be talking about. But that's what we covered. Jim Jones, man, he got a pipe down. The dude want the fade, fuck that fade, get money, Jim, and go up. We got young Jeezy on the chopping block too. I really want to get in there because I'm a fan of Jeezy. Like when you be a fan of somebody, lately in hip hop and in the hip hop community, 20 years later, you find out somebody was cooperating. 30, you know what I mean? It's just all a fairy tale. But the young Jeezy situation, I personally thought that Jeezy was just smart. When we think about the BMF situation, and I just thought Jeezy was smart. I thought Jeezy maneuvered his way around that. But, as the vloggers, as a journalist, bring it out and put it on the chopping block. Once it hit the table, it's like, damn, you know what I mean? We overlooked it. Jeezy had a sensational run. He been doing this thing. But I noticed, in the beginning of the BMF thing, he was falling back. I didn't see the love, throughout the duration of incarceration of Meech. I know he was real tight with Meech. I don't know who else. He was shouting dudes out, saying things in records. I don't know if he was doing this part as a member. Blue Da Vinci and a few dudes were saying he wasn't doing his part. So Blue Da Vinci been saying Jeezy was wild, and there's a few people been saying Jeezy was wild, but there was no concrete evidence. So now this retired FBI agent decides to come out and tell a story. Doesn't use Jeezy name, doesn't use Jeezy name at all, but he's specifying certain things. He's putting certain things out there where he talking about Jeezy. You get what I'm saying? And people breaking the Da Vinci Code all through the internet. And Blue Da Vinci is just double back on his story that he was saying while back about the shit. Jeezy did some wild shit. Jeezy didn't clear the song with Blue Da Vinci. Jeezy started being real standoffish from BMF. And then, when he first came out, the Snowman, the whole campaign, Black Tees, all that, man, was like a part of him being creative, him being an artist, him in his bag and pursuing a music career. But it's also he had a fucking solid foundation to tap dance on, and that was that BMF movement. You know what I'm saying? That was that BMF movement. That BMF movement was a solid foundation for artists that was affiliated with them to tap dance on that stage. That was a big stage, and Jeezy was talking that cocaine from the first mixtape all the way to he a little different now, but all the way to now, like he taught that street shit. And back in 04, 03, 05, 06, he definitely was one of them ones. And it definitely was believable talk. We know that rap was be magnificent poets. They no different than Steven Spielberg or Spike Lee when they get down with that pen. But we just felt like, you know what I mean? Because Meech and them got locked up. We just felt like Jeezy was really one of them members in the language that he was using. You had to know something. You had to be hanging around something. You had to know good. And, street dudes was vouching for him. And, they was looking good. But when the indictment happened, everybody got grabbed. A lot of dudes, 3-4 years after the indictment over, dudes was getting grabbed. So all that partying and all that shit, you get what I'm saying? I don't know. You get what I'm saying? Indictments happen type shit. Indictments happen all the time. And you get neighborhoods that get knocked off. You get crews that get knocked off, and everybody don't go. We seen that happen before. But we know all the high rollers go. All the ones that was one of them ones go. Even Lil Blue went. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's exempt when the feds send the drag and they send them goons to come get you. So it's all in the air about, Jeezy. Did Jeezy cooperate? And the FBI dude said this. This is what I learned from my research. The FBI dude said that two rappers from Atlanta gets into beef. One of the rappers puts a bounty on the rapper head about a chain. Eventually, some guys get some balls. They run up in the rapper house. The rapper get charged with murder. Atlanta and Georgia, they have a self-defense law, so it was proven that the rapper was stood in self-defense. So the FBI dude said, who would you think that would target the FBI? The rapper who killed intruders coming in his house, or the rapper that puts a bounty on their head? It ain't rocket science to know that. You're going to go at the person that put the money on their head. Murder for hire. We just saying Baltimore's own. Why JEEZY take it 25 years? We seen a lot of dudes go down for that murder for hire. So they saying basically they got a murder for hire case on JEEZY. They got a couple witnesses saying he did this or whatever, however it's going. But JEEZY was never charged on this shit. JEEZY was never, and Gucci Man basically publicized that JEEZY sent these niggas at me. I killed them. They was all in the move, all on the joint. When they did the verses, Gucci Man sung the verse. Like, so they saying, and that makes sense to me. Common sense not common, but that's common sense. If two podcasters get to beefing and you make it publicized, I got $20,000 for this dude chains, and dudes go get that and they end up dead, and dude in the self-defense and the records in the streets are talking, you definitely gonna have the police on your ass. So that's what made me put the question mark right there. Like I said, I don't call no man no rat. I don't say anything unless it's black and white, or nowadays it's either black and white or on the camera. So I ain't, you know what I mean? But this scenario that's out there is making sense, and we know some scenarios could be false and make the perfect sense, but we talking about a street guy. We talking about real situations that happen that the world know about, and we talking about a guy that walked away unscathed. Even Gucci went to jail. You know what I mean? So that's it, man. Please hit that notification. All that shit talking in the box. I look like Whoopi Goldberg and all that. Look like you like to double tap the screen. Do that for me. So that's what it is. And now it's just hitting the fam. Everybody been reporting on the JEEZY shit. So y'all could just Google his name. Is out there. So what do you think? Leave in the comment box. You think young JEEZY cooperated back then to save his career and to save his life? And now he's a multi-millionaire, multiple business, and he's far-fetched from that stuff. But and now, to the real dudes and to dudes that's 100, it'll break dude's heart to know that he cooperated. But if he cooperated back then, which was 20 plus years ago, do it count now. You know what I mean? And to the average fan and to the average brain that's out there now, it don't count. You get what I'm saying? I'm just being honest with you. To me, I might be like, damn, man, JEEZY was my favorite. He out of rotation now. And a couple real guys, but JEEZY doesn't give a fuck. His core fan base doesn't give a fuck. The people that want to do business with him doesn't give a fuck, because like I said, the streets is an illusion. They don't count in the real world. But JEEZY was a dude that was in the streets that got into the real world after the street life. And whatever way that he did it, they saying that he didn't just hustle, duck an indictment, make his way up. Niggas say he threw some salt in the water. You know what I mean? And it attracted some ears and eyes. But like I said, I never seen no paperwork produced. This is all just my opinion from all the blogs and everything that just posted. I'm not saying JEEZY a rat. I'm not saying JEEZY ain't a rat. All I'm saying is that it's a lot of speculations that's just not looking too good on JEEZY. And that's it, man. Hit that notification button, hit that subscribe button, drop a like. Let's get in the comments. Get in that comment box. So let me get back into this whatchamacallit. Let me get back into this trenches news. So everybody know Lord Dirt, man. Lord Dirt is, Lord Dirt been locked up almost a year. You know what I'm saying? So he's coming over a year incarceration. He's supposed to get back in court January, February for his trial. And now a lot of things, his lawyers went to court and filed a powerful motion asking for dismissal or, turn over the evidence. And the feds is dirty and crooked and corrupt as they is. And one thing for sure, it's dirty and crooked and corrupt. The feds, they say, is, hey, them motherfuckers cross their T's and dot their I's. See, they corrupt, dirty, and crooked, but they got a biolog that's mean. So when you come at them and think you got your shit right, they coming at you 10 times worse.
Season 2 out now. Make sure y'all go and check out season 1.
Hit that notification button.
It's your boy Trisha News, and I'm back at y'all with another one. Appreciate all the support. Thanks for everyone who subscribed to the channel. If you ain't subbed to my channel, make sure you do. Make sure you join the membership Shout out to all my mods. If you ain't follow my mods, you can follow the X at the end of the video. Remember, if you got anything extra, I said extra, not food, hygiene, clothes, bag it up, take it outside to give it to the less fortunate. Remember, we all one step away from being homeless. I don't care how much money you got or you think you got. Mother Nature could come and destroy everything, and now you homeless. So make sure you get back. With that being said, let's say the kids, the women, the elderly, the neutrons, and the civilians. Where's that? CPD can't save you or your local police department, so make sure you know where your kids are and your surround. All right, y'all. I got one story, but it's 3 people I'm talking about. We talking about Lil Dirt having federal nightmares, man. Just about right about now. Then we talking about FBG Cash case still unsolved, but everything else coming out. And then we talking about TTE Lil Ted, man, which is OTFDD, brother, man. Make sure y'all smash that like button so this video get around. If you got Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, Twitch, Facebook, Market, Zoo, hook it up. We're going to start off with Lil Dirt and the federal nightmares that he having, man. So all this paperwork dropping, and first it seemed like it was good for Lil Dirt with the motion to dismiss, you know, because the U.S. attorney and all that.
No fuck shit, no fake shit, no foolishness.
But that's just minor. That still don't supersede the murder for hire and that somebody got killed in broad daylight. So that's just minor. They ain't gonna dismiss no case because of that. So, you know, we see that, you know, if y'all haven't seen it, it's paperwork for the lawsuit. I told y'all the murder for hire, the second murder for hire ain't over with. All the U.S. attorney said, which is Jason Julian, the guy, said when he was asked by, just like when they asked, O-Block asked about Lil Dirt, when they asked, the lawyer asked about OTF, Jason Julian said the same thing. He said, I don't know, not at this moment. That don't mean that he dropped no case or none of that, you know, and they still got Dirk's name involved and linked to it, you know. So he going through that. He going through, you know, the Apple Watch thing, violating the rules and all that good shit, right? And then just imagine what we don't know and what we don't see that they got if they just open it up. Now, the thing about with the O-Block and sliding for Vaughn and, you know, killing this guy Richo, that's just a tactic, man. That's a tactic that they using to get somebody to flip, even if it is true, you know, because it could be true. Like AJ got on there on the wire with an informant and told them that the guy don't deserve no money. He don't deserve no money. He don't deserve nothing. That, like, he didn't do nothing. I'm the one who chased him down. Belittle his homie who went on a hit with him. So it does happen, y'all. But all these lyrics and everything they've been rapping about, man, this shit coming to light. And speaking of coming to light, I remember everybody who was in this paperwork, they was damn near in the room. And they was like, I did it. I was confused. I was like, damn, why is Lil Dirt participating in some shit like this? He big. He big at this time, bro. Lil Dirt on fire. I did it. I'm like, damn. And then these niggas ain't got no respect because they yes, man, to record the shit and put it to the world. So, you know, Cash ended up dying. You know, Cash ended up getting killed. That's what I did it. And, you know, he had songs about Cash before. Now, Cash case is unsolved. But I guarantee, and to the source that told me, they never led me wrong, Cash case is going to get solved. And it's gonna blow the horns off Chicago. You know, everybody going to want to go straight after they done with Lil Dirt now. That's what I was told, man. Everybody going to want to go straight because it's coming, man. Dang. You know. And then you got TTE Lil Ted. TTE Lil Ted got locked up and said, I know about a body before he even got out the police car in a parking lot.
That's a fact.
Station, 71st. I'll tell y'all about a body. Well, what body was he talking about? He be around Lil Dirt now. He be around all of them. He know about all that shit. And I'm pretty sure when they cut off them cameras, them people called the feds. They called them and, hey, he know about some shit. You know, they ain't ignored that. They just didn't record it. We just didn't hear it. But according to a person, a good friend, a good source, man, never made me wrong. He got me on fire. Shout out to him, man. Can't say his name. But saying, man, the TT Lil Ted in some shit, man. He in some shit, man. And that's the last person that said, you know, I can't say that it's TT Lil Ted, the PW, or none of that. But what I can tell you is that the man said he know about a body. And I believe him. And Lil Dirt now, They did a whole bunch of shit with a whole bunch of people that wasn't even supposed to be around. They weren't supposed to be doing the shit anyway because Lil Durk is big.
Dang.
And I feel that cash case gonna get solved.
Yeah.
Murder gonna get solved. Remember, the car was found in BBG area. You know, that's where the car was found at after they killed Cash. Don't forget that. Don't let that go over your head. And, you know, they bringing up all this other shit. They was going to kill the old block members. They was going to go and kill Lamron, Red Cho. They was putting prices, money on kill anybody, you know. And if that's really true, and when they show this shit in court and how they got it, because they going to show it. We going to see the pictures. We going to see what the audio say broke down and all that shit. And then people going to go to court. So we going to hear what they saying. And if it is true, you know, maybe all the shit will come out that all they did, man, Lil Durk now fuck. But I really think Lil Durk, he predicted his own downfall. He was rapping about it, demonic, rapping about murders and robberies. He wasn't there on a lot of shit, but he was rapping about it, you know. But yeah, I think Cash case gonna get solved, man. And I think, you know, Durk and them done, man. But I do think TT, Lil Ted, he was on to something, man. Y'all get in the comments and let me know what y'all think. I will be going live, man, at 7:30, man, 8 o'clock. Make sure y'all there, man.
What y'all think, bro? That little Dirt shit. Oh, I got rid of this. Oh, my God.
For all those caring for the ones they care about, we see you doing what's expected, but
whoa.
Baltimore told me that prosecutor contacted his attorney, talking about he gonna be subpoenaed. They say his attorney came to see him and gave him some new locked up. He tore the visiting room up. So that's somebody close to him that gave something up.
What's good, y'all? It's your boy, The Answer Man. We got a quick Big U update. Looks like Molly Mall, Grammy-winning producer that was in the paperwork, been subpoenaed to testify, and looked like Big U got some bad news from his lawyer. So let's get to the content, man. Appreciate y'all tuning in.
I don't think Big U trial gonna start in May. I think it's gonna be like September, October. Yeah, we don't know. See, there's a whole lot we don't know. Like, they had certain locations bugged. You don't know what they got on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He working with the grid pro, you know. They got his head on top of the world. I mean, he can just do anything. Yeah, not thinking past it. See the extortion. Like, I know the other nigga. That extortion really wasn't extortion. He the type of nigga that'll come borrow 40, 50 from you, tell you he'll have your money back in a month. Then in a month he disappear on you. And then it take you 3-4 months to find him. And then when you find him, he ain't got none of your money. So now you gotta press get your money. But now you dealing with it as an informant on paper, you don't know it. And he gotta give him something. And he's scared because he ain't got that. So he go tell the feds who he working for, this dude is pressing me for money. He don't tell him he borrowed the money. And the street nigga ain't did no contract to show he lived. And then next thing you know, the feds say, oh yeah. Well, we're gonna provide you the money that you can give to him, and we're gonna document it so he's extorting. Yeah, and there you go. I know the nigga. That's how I knew who it was. You gotta remember, a lot of people in that paperwork, people only know who it was because when Prince was reading it, I was saying who they was. There's no names in the paperwork. Witness, okay, that's Molly Mall. Okay, that's Monster. I was naming it as he was reading the paper. Nobody else knew who it was. You can't find nowhere Grammy nominated producer. The house, okay, that's Molly. I call him your mom. Yeah, wacky. That's my security guard who drew down on. Here's how I knew. Remember, we went and found Monster paperwork 2020. No, a lot of shit getting put together right here on this floor, and the rest of the people pick it up. That's how we knew. We like the Prince and them went and done. When I said the name, they would have done. You know, he on federal indictment from 2020 trying to ship dope from LA to Ohio. But he ain't did a day yet. Okay, that's when he went to work. When the extortion started, 2021. That's bad work. Yeah, but it really wasn't extortion. is just trying to get his money back. That's cold.
It's cold.
And then he turned it into that. Yeah, okay.
Right.
Think about it.
So basically, Big U lawyer came to see him this week. If y'all just coming in my house, man, please hit that notification button. Please hit that subscribe button. Drop a like. Leave a comment. If you're new to my channel, get to know me. You get what I'm saying? We've been in the game 7 years now. But Big U basically has been indicted on federal charges, and his lawyer came to see him and revealed the witness list. And basically, they saying one of the dudes that he was supposed to be extorting, he wasn't really extorting him. The dude owed him the money, and he needed his money. And Big U wanted his money. And dude was playing games, and he felt like the feds gave the dude the money because the dude got caught. You know, it's gonna be a lot of that in the Big U case. Motherfuckers got caught up and decide because they wanted Big U. They want Big U. Big U, 60 years old. He been in that crip shit, man, 40, 50 years damn near. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? It's a big thing. So that's what they explain to you. Tore the visiting room up because he was so angry and upset when his lawyer told him what he told him. You get what I'm saying? It's a big case. So next summer, that's what everybody be talking about, this Big U case, and it's federal, so it won't be no cameras in the courtroom. So yeah, this shit deep, man.
1,500,000 at a time. I'm just trying to get his money back. It makes sense. Okay, the last show I went to do for them was with Sada Baby, and was in the parking lot. I spotted him, but I knew the little y'all doing up here. Wolf says, "Oh, Wolf 60,000. Wolf loaned him money. He been on the run for a year." I said, "Yo, I called Wolf. Y'all get a body. I got business with him. I have to." Say no extortion. This man owed me his money. See this? This is to him.
All a lot of them dudes is borrowing money and doing this shit. Dude, this nigga's a fucking idiot. Whoever this nigga is. Delete this nigga Pete Scott, man. He making me mad. And ask on the friends. Like, he rather y'all smoking on these comments. Yeah, he's smoking on something, bro. He's smoking on that shit that Smokey had on First Friday. They had him in the chicken coop, bro. You just talking crazy. These shows they just be getting busy like the Bunky dance. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Even that night, I went in there and said, "Mom, you want Wolf 60,000? Yeah, why you ain't paid him? Man, you want all this money at once. Well, he gave you the whole 60, right? Right, okay, well, these little niggas out here, I didn't feel more than one, I'm gonna get him on the phone. Man, I ain't got the 60 again. You keep telling me this, that. You've been on the run for a year. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, I got 15,000. I said, well, how could you pay him? I got 15,000. I give him 5 a month. I said, well, been a year. I said, you've been getting your money back like that, you'd have it by now. All right, cool. I'm gonna get whacked at 15,000. You ain't gonna give me. You gonna go give it to that man. You know where he at. Yeah. As soon as he give it to me, now I become bank. I'm the collector. You know what I'm saying? You gonna give it to him. Dirty game out here. That's a fact. Well, Wolf can't prove that. I mean, Big U can't prove that. The other ain't gonna admit to it. Because he gotta feed the feds. So, well, you think they gonna get that? They ain't even about to murder us. And I know they gonna hit it with it. Because Marley Marl told me that the prosecutor contacted his attorney, talking about he gonna be subpoenaed. And then with Dennis, so many witnesses in it, to be 59 next month. But I think everybody gonna play dirty ball. I think Big U gonna start giving them cold cases. This is people over the years that got pulled over 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, you know, giving the police information. Whether led to an arrest or not. Yeah, he doing this, he doing that. You know what I'm saying? So then a few of his people, we know they didn't turn some of them niggas that got arrested. Because they ain't never did a day. You gotta pay. He's 59 on dialysis. He ain't never did a day in jail. Other dude, Bear Claw, he is dialysis. He's sick. And something else then went on because They said the attorney came to see me, gave him some new popped up. He tore the visiting room up. So that's somebody close to him that gave some up. The crazy part about it, there's so many investigations going on. Investigations be crossing over into other investigations because now you're on a wiretap. But this feds is listening to this on this other day doing. Then they contacted, hey, yo, y'all got, yeah, y'all, this is y'all guy. Yeah, well, he's now there. Then there it go. Mm-hmm. And the feds let it happen for years and years. For Big U, he been at that New Jersey Rico who served him. He been playing dirty ball too for a while. So caught up with him. The crazy part about it is an indictment. They had all Big U phone numbers, social medias, everything. He's a gang leader behind the distribution of the drugs in California and New Jersey rolling 60s. Everybody got snagged, and the Big U kept all this information the same.
Hey, Wack, a lot of people try to make it something when Nipsey had died and Big U was on his live and he kind of laughed and threw up a neighborhood sign.
Figure out what? And they said come to justice for Nip.
Yeah.
That was something. Look at that. Listen. That ain't no different than a nigga that's supposed to be your little homie, your little brother. It's what you preaching to the people in the world. And see, you gotta remember with him, he's not too tech savvy. He ain't understanding. Niggas is screen recording all kind of. He's not thinking that far. He thinking he gonna read that's gonna happen real time, that's it. If he saw you, he ain't thinking a nigga recording gonna put it out. And a nigga put justice for Nip. And him and his 2-3 homies, he like, look at these niggas talking about justice for Nip. And start laughing.
That was crazy.
I mean, you know.
That was crazy.
Yeah, so he ain't too, you know, he learned like, oh, nigga, well, they scream, oh, nigga, wait, what? They can get the audio too every day.
Everybody made a video off of it.
Yeah. He just showed his hand.
All right, y'all, there it is, man. It's been a little dormant on the Big U front. We know that the trial's probably going to start in a few months. So in between time, you haven't heard much about Loose Cannon. We know Brick Baby took the plea. And outside of that, though, it's just really waiting for it to go down. But the fact that Marley Marl is going to testify, and if y'all remember, he owned the studio where a lot of things went down that shouldn't have went down. The cameras that were out of order, that was at the studio that Marley owned as well. Not sure what he could provide in terms of information because he wasn't there, which is good for him. Plausible deniability. You know what I mean? But as it develops, we'll definitely keep you posted. Make sure you like the video. Appreciate y'all tuning in, man. It's your boy till next time. We out.
So there I was, scrolling eBay.
When I saw this.
Still in the box. It's like the exact same one my mom wore.
You can feel the luxury.
So then I roll up in this rare vintage muffler.
You should have seen their faces when I said,
Some people invest in stocks, but for me,
it's Margiela.
Balenciaga.
Look, find it!
This whole time it was right there on eBay.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay, things people love.
Dang. That shit tough. This is Jeezy.
Okay, so another topic that is like super late breaking, and this is probably one of the most unique ways that I've ever seen somebody get exposed for snitching. But basically, there was an FBI agent who made a TikTok talking about a case that he was involved with many years ago. And we could play the clip if you like. Yeah,
that's the clip right here with
I'm not
Jeezy.
going to say the guy's name because he's pretty famous. And to be fair, he was never charged with a crime. But we had these two rappers in Atlanta in the early 2000s.
Told y'all.
And they
I
were
seen
beefing
them.
with each other, trading diss tracks, the whole thing. Then rapper number one, the famous one, orders his goons to go beat up rapper number two and steal this gaudy gold and diamond necklace he wore in all of his videos. And that's where it got interesting. The goon squad shows up at rapper number two's place. He pulls a gun and starts shooting. One of the attackers gets hit, makes it about 200 yards away from the house before he drops dead. Rapper number 2 is arrested for murder, but is dismissed as self-defense. And the real criminal here is rapper number 1.
Told y'all.
Who ordered the violent act that got his man
Told
killed.
y'all.
I had the phone records of 2 witnesses prepared to testify for what would have been a rock-solid RICO murder case. But for reasons that were never explained to me, the U.S. Attorney's Office declined prosecution, and rapper number 1 went on to have a phenomenally successful career. Oh well, win some, lose some.
So basically, the allegation is that
He's talking about Jeezy.
Right, and Blue Da Vinci has kind of confirmed as well that there was this sort of like eerie switch up from Jeezy, where when the BMF takedown went down, that Jeezy at that point like ceased to have anything to do with BMF, never communicated with any of them ever after that. And so he's basically saying that they had, in his opinion, a rock solid case against Jeezy for the Gucci situation in which Pookie Loc got killed, but that was never pursued by the FBI, and that his best guess is basically that it was in exchange for Jeezy supplying information about BMF.
I missed that last part.
Okay, yeah.
Where is that last part?
You kind of need to connect the dots with like prior videos. There's like a Blue Da Vinci video where he goes into depth about how he feels very strongly that Jeezy snitched. And so that guy kind of like puts the details of it together of what his incentive to do so might have been, since Jeezy was the only one associated with BMF that basically ended up getting to skate free.
Well, what about there was multiple guys that went into that house?
Yeah, and I interviewed one of them, Young Throwback, who claimed that Gucci Mane, or I interviewed the guy who claims that he's the one who pulled the trigger and killed Pookie Loc.
That's not what I'm talking about. Pookie Loc was with someone else.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't by himself.
Yeah, it was like 2 people that ran inside the crib.
So maybe the people who were cooperating were the 2 people that were part of the home invasion, and they were going to cooperate against Jeezy. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what I kind of implied from that.
The reason people think that this guy's implying that Jeezy actually did it, because in the comments, the 2 comments that he actually replied to was someone saying that the theory of reason that Jeezy never got locked up was because of him providing evidence to the feds about the BMF shit. And that the guy who made this TikTok, he liked that theory, and then he was like, interesting theory. So people just speculating that that's why. It's not, you know what I'm saying? It's not like really just proven, but it's just the theory of like.
And it always did seem sort of bizarre that all this shit went down in front of our eyes, where Gucci basically ordered this situation that ended up in a murder, and that it was never pursued. I mean, even as like a real young rap fan, that always stood out to me. I was like, how the f are they not pursuing that?
I mean, when it comes to situations like this, to convict someone of a murder for hire, it's a little tricky, especially when people are not cooperating. You see what I'm saying? So you need to get a unanimous, like the Hernandez Govan trial.
Someone at this law firm knew they were fueling an epidemic. You come forward now. You're just a crazy old lady with no evidence. You didn't see this guy, did you now?
Matlock returns Sunday, part of CBS Premier Week. A lot of folks call Myrtle Beach the beach. Why? Well, they can tell you themselves.
Pookie Loc, that's crazy, bro. Pookie Loc tripping, they tripping, yo, ain't they, yo? This is what I gotta do, this, man. Boy, Derrick.
Lowered the arm down, went through the garage door, it looked like. And there were flashbangs.
SWAT officers surround a home in Atlanta to find New Orleans' most wanted man hiding in a hole in a basement. And look at this video. It shows SWAT officers leading Derrick Groves out of that home in handcuffs. Good afternoon, I'm Liz Reyes.
And I'm Lauren McCoy. Derrick Groves was the last of the 10 inmates captured after they escaped from the Orleans Parish Jail in May. We look at the role Crime Stoppers played in his recapture, what's next now that he's in custody, and how DA says Groves' luck finally ran out.
But first, Gabby Killett breaks down how authorities say they captured Groves. Gabby.
Well, authorities say they found Groves this afternoon in a crawl space in the basement of a home on Honeysuckle Street in Atlanta. They say they gassed the house multiple times to try to get him to come out.
They say Groves did come out once authorities deployed a canine. This was the scene on Honeysuckle Street in southwest Atlanta. New Orleans U.S. Marshals contacted Atlanta authorities over the summer with a tip from Crime Stoppers of Greater New Orleans. We're told law enforcement spent the next months narrowing down Groves' location.
Ever since the escape, which was in May, the U.S. Marshals in New Orleans, along with several other departments, started basically a task force just for this case and have spent thousands of hours working tons of leads. We can't say exactly what brought us here, but it was a very thorough investigation, mainly by our New Orleans Marshals, and then they sent us information which we corroborated and was able to locate him at this location.
We're so thankful for the bravery and courage of all the officers involved in this operation. He is the 10th of 10 individuals to be taken into custody from the Orleans Parish incident.
New Orleans Deputy U.S. Marshal Brian Fair emphasized bringing Groves back into custody was a collaborative effort.
The law enforcement effort between the Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office, the New Orleans Police Department, Louisiana State Police,
he definitely going straight down gold.
FBI, and the U.S. Marshals. So all these agencies contributed to what happened today.
And Fair says it's not clear whether Groves had been working or had otherwise changed his appearance while on the run for nearly 5 months. Fair says the investigation into Groves' escape and subsequent disappearance is ongoing. Lauren.
All right, Gabby, thank you. Derrick Groves' mother told the Associated Press that she woke up to seeing the news of her son's capture on the internet. Stephanie Groves told them she is all messed up and just trying to talk to him. She said that she did not know why he went to Atlanta and had not been in contact with him after he escaped. And she says after the escape, her family has been followed and under surveillance. She told them, quote, "It's just been a mess," and that she's glad it's over with.
Shorty blew a kiss at the camera. Hey, I mean, man had life in prison, man, was out for 5 months, man. I guess that's what it is.
Violent criminals to break out of the Orleans jail. He was convicted of murdering the deaths of 2 men on Mardi Gras Day in 2018, one of 2 shooters who opened fire on the crowd. Last year, Groves pleaded guilty to battery of a correctional facility employee. DA Jason Williams said he was afraid that Derrick Groves would kill again.
Chris Welty reports Williams praises law enforcement and says more charges will come.
John District Attorney Jason Williams says Derrick Groves' arrest brings a collective sigh of relief. Now investigators want to narrow down who helped him get to Atlanta. Williams says Groves may escape represents a serious breach of public safety and a historic failure of custodial security. Groves was serving a life sentence for second-degree murder following conviction.
That boy ran on a life sentence. I can't even. I mean, if you ever been incarcerated before, he been locked up since 2018. He had life in prison, and he was on the run for 5 months, man. I feel him, bro. You know what I mean? That shit was a break. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. That was a hell of a break he had. 150 days, boy, to have life in prison to be free. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's tough. I feel bad. And I'm saying, you know, he made his bed, he got laid in it. He got found guilty. Sure, you know, they, you know, it's a public case, so I doubt if they beat him up. They gonna be laughing, they gonna want to ask him a bunch of questions, but Shorty don't give a fuck. That's what I'm telling you, because at the end of the day, man, I mean, me personally, I'll be laughing, even though it's the worst situation ever. Like, man, I got out that motherfucker, man. Yeah, I was able to get some pussy, man. I was able to get some fresh air. I don't even give a fuck about what y'all talking about, because I already got life in prison. he already got a life sentence. So it was just like being on vacation. Like, man, now you got a life sentence. They gonna send him straight to Angola to their maximum security. And hey, man, Shorty already know he had that coming. You understand what I'm saying? He had that coming already. He was already doing life. So it's like, man, I'm gone back. You know what I mean? I was already locked up for 7 years. I was just home for almost 6 months. You know what I mean? Running around doing what I gotta do, man. So hey, it is what it is, man. God bless me. I guess that's how he would look at it. If you escape from prison after being locked up nearly 8 years, over 7 years, and you escape for like 150 days, almost 6 months, man, you in your mind, you think that's a blessing. In your mind, you think that was a blessing. I would. You know what I mean, man? God bless me to be out here 150 days. My girl say, I know he made some babies. Like, bro just had to do what he needed to do, bro. Like, it wasn't it. But one thing I will fault him for is getting too comfortable. Like, I don't know what he was in, and then you in houses where you don't have nowhere and ain't got no real structure to hide at. Like, I know me, I would have never got comfortable because, you know, down south, there's a lot of rich, wealthy people down south. Don't get it fucked up, but it's a lot of people that's fucked up, and $50,000 down south, up north, over the Midwest is a lot of money, bro. And everybody ain't gonna be 100 because the shorty ran for 150 days. He could have ran for the rest of his life. And down south got a lot of land and a lot of back roads, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, whatever he was doing and whoever he was around, he trusted, and he got too comfortable. He got too comfortable, or he made somebody mad, you know what I'm saying? Cause, you know, I thought, I'll be honest with you, like, he shouldn't have never stopped moving. And that's the honest opinion I could tell you. I wouldn't have never stopped moving. You know, you had 150 days. And like I said, bro, it's not, I don't want to see man do more, but I'm just saying I wouldn't hurt nobody to make a situation worse, but everything will have been a play for money. You get what I'm saying? If I was on a run like he was on a run, every day would have been a play for money. I can't play no games. I need money. I need to hook up with people that can move me. You know what I'm saying? 150 days, man. Shorty should have got out the country. Like, I would have, that's what I would have been doing, bro. Trying to get on a boat, trying to get on somebody fucking boat, bro. And once I get on that motherfucking boat, I'm jumping off that boat and I'm going ahead. So, you know what I mean? So, you know, to each his own. You know, you can't run forever. It is some dudes because they never found Frank Matthews. Don't get it twisted. The great Frank Matthews, they never found him. And, you know, Sadama Shakur, she went over Cuba. It's just ways of doing things. But I don't know. I don't know if he had money. I don't know if he got a team. I don't know what he had. But he had something that got him from Louisiana with the whole fucking every police force, every undercover, every rat looking for you. You got the fuck out of there, man. And you got the land like what, 3-4 hours away from New Orleans. So you was able to get on that back road and get on a dirt road and get out of there. And it ain't nothing but back dirt roads. And you know, and down south, bro, I would have traveled during rush hour, man, and got the fuck out of there, bro. You know what I'm saying? Got on a truck. You know what I'm saying? He should have just hitched his way. You know what I mean? But like I said, bro, he was doing a life sentence and being on the run for 150 days doing a life sentence after being locked up since 2018. It had to feel good, bro. With all the pressure that you got on you and all the shit that you can account, it had to feel good to be free that long. But it's over now, and they gonna make sure he doesn't get freed again. You know what I'm saying? They probably house him in a federal facility. You know what I'm saying? He ain't gonna get nothing. Yeah, it was definitely a nice little vacation. Anybody that love him just was happy to see him. I don't know. You know, it seemed like his family was strong. They was under surveillance, but where's the will is a way. You know, they had 24-hour surveillance on his family, but what you gotta remember, he had hours before they knew they was gone. They had like 15 hours while they was gone. So it's like, and they planned this out. This wasn't just no, I don't know. You know, when dudes, some of them dudes ain't really have a bunch of time in jail like the dude Mancy. Some of them dudes are gonna get out, they're gonna write a book, they're gonna do a tell-all joint. Believe that, you know what I mean? All them boys, all 10 of them boys that escape prison are not gonna be serving life in prison. That's it. And whatever charge they're gonna give you down there, they only get for escape charge. maybe carry 5 to 10 years. You know what I mean? They didn't hurt nobody when they escaped. Nobody got killed when they escaped. It wasn't a massive riot when they escaped. But they'll get the escape charge and whatever penalty to that escape charge. They're going to get a little time for that. But them boys going to be out of, some of them dudes getting out of jail. That shit going to be a movie. Them dudes going to, it's sad to say, probably like the ones that got that long ass time but never get to see it. But that dude, them dudes ain't gonna get like 10 years. Oh, when they get out, they doing the tell-all. You know what I'm saying? They doing the tell-all. Dudes gonna talk about that because that definitely in my lifetime, in my life, since I've been living, that was a legendary escape. You get what I'm saying? That was just a legendary escape. I ain't even gonna lie. I never seen, since I've been living, that many dudes escape from prison. I heard about dudes escaping from prison all the time, but I never heard about dudes escaping from prison. That many dudes making it look so easy. And then, you know, that particular one dude in this day with all the technology, all the different police forces in this day and time, dude stayed on the run for 150 days. Definitely legendary. He definitely, if he ain't do nothing, he should have sold his life rights to somebody and did his paperwork about that story. That boy gonna be able to tell a story. And you never know. To be totally honest, he might get his freedom one day. Allah knows best. God makes things happen. He might get his freedom one day because his family would say he didn't even commit the crime. You get what I'm saying? So I don't know his case, but I'm gonna dig into that, and they're gonna go to court, and it's a state case, and I don't know. He went across state line. I don't know. But the one thing that was good about them dudes that did escape from prison, they wasn't involved in no other criminal activity outside of escaping from prison. So that's a good thing. They ain't escape from prison and take the whole world on their shoulder. So they didn't do that. So Derrick Grove, I don't think that, you know, I didn't hear, we'll learn later on in the weeks to come, but I don't think he committed no crimes, you know what I mean, or nothing like that. So I don't think he killed nobody. I don't think he robbed nobody. I think that he had a little support team, a little underground railroad that kept moving, but he got too relaxed. It's still 2025, babe. In that situation, you could never get relaxed unless you out the country and you run across a real lick or run across somebody with some money that's really gonna move you around. And unfortunately, us from the ghetto, we ain't got that. But that 150 days and whatever sources he had, bro, they got together and kept him out here for a minute. That boy was on the run so long, the internet stopped looking for him. The police didn't, but the internet never stopped looking for him. You know what I mean? He was that long. The internet never stopped looking for him. That's just the crazy part about it. Bro was on the run so long, the internet never stopped looking for him. The internet stopped looking for him. I stopped following it. I used to see people count his days down. But you know what I mean? Everybody reporting that joint. Let's go. The news fire. Hit that notification button, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, leave a comment. Yes.
Place does it all. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight. Get ready. Unbeatable deals are coming soon at Harbor Freight.
Katie Charisse, the U.S. Marshal Service, tells us they've received several tips over the last few months, and finally, one panned out. After nearly 5 months on the run,
This afternoon, here on Honeysuckle Lane, the United States Marshals Southeast Fugitive Task Force, in conjunction with the Atlanta Police Department and the Clayton County Police Department, were able to take Derrick Groves, 28 years old, into custody.
Derrick Groves is once again in custody. Police say he was taken into custody peacefully, but he left reporters on the scene with a kiss and an unclear message, screaming something including, "They're taking me." He was found nearly 500 miles from where he first escaped back on May 16th. Officials say a tip led them to Honeysuckle Lane.
This one obviously panned out.
Atlanta police say they deployed gas canisters into the home to try and force him out.
We deployed a number of canisters of gas to help move him throughout the house, which he moved to the basement of the house. Soon after, Clayton County K-9 was deployed. in the crawl space of the location and found him in that.
Video from the scene shows the front door, window, and garage door of the home blown out. It seems as though a bed frame was in the garage. It's unclear how long he's been in Atlanta and how he even got there, but neighbors tell us they've been seeing some suspicious activity for nearly a month. One neighbor says when she would go out to get the mail, she would see someone staring at her from across the way through the blinds.
I said, somebody is looking out that window. And when I saw him in the color, I said, that was him. He knew when I went to the mailbox.
With Groves in custody, neighbors in Atlanta and New Orleans can breathe a sigh of relief. Now that he's in custody, the extradition process will begin soon and he'll be brought back here to Louisiana. He'll likely be sent to Angola. That's where his 9 fellow escapees have been ever since they were found after the escape. Reporting in front of the Orleans Justice Center, Alyssa Curtis, WWL Louisiana.
Why do it?
Sent them boys to their big prison. Yeah, I told you that. He went to Angola.
Still lose.
He went to Angola.
Huge SWAT situation unfolding near East Point today, and the capture, we understand, of that one remaining prisoner, that escapee from a New Orleans prison back in May. You remember when 10 prisoners escaped? Well, there was one left, and he's apparently been captured right here in the metro Atlanta area. Deidre Dukes is on the scene where this all happened. We're talking, Deidre, about Derrick Groves. He is the last of those 10 men to be captured in dramatic fashion right there near East Point.
That's right, and months on the run, all coming to an end here at DeLoe Drive and West Cedar Lane here in Southwest Atlanta, just up the street here. A lot of police activity going on here, just beyond the police tape down the street. You see there the house there, the gray brick mason house with the brown roof there, and the white fence, that basement door open. That is where about an hour ago, Atlanta police, joined by the U.S. Marshal Service, did pull him out of that house. Now, this culminating after the fugitive having been on the run for several months. Now, this happened after an hours-long SWAT standoff here. Neighbors reporting to Fox 5 that this all started this morning when SWAT units rolled in along with APD officers, Atlanta SWAT rolling in with APD officers, cordoning off this stretch of West Cedar Lane off of DeLoe Drive in Southwest Atlanta. Neighbors saying an officer got on the bullhorn out front of the residence, called for that wanted fugitive Derrick Groves to surrender to authorities. Now, 27-year-old Groves was one of 10 inmates who broke out of jail in New Orleans back in May. He was the last remaining fugitive who was still at large. He managed to elude authorities for months before being captured at this home in Atlanta this afternoon. Now, our photographer Eric Len captured exclusive images of Groves being brought out of the house in handcuffs by law enforcement about an hour ago. Atlanta police assisting the U.S. Marshal Service this afternoon in this operation. Groves was serving time after being convicted of killing 2 people during a Mardi Gras party back in 2024 in New Orleans. So again, just major developments here this afternoon after an operation which unfolded here throughout the morning into the afternoon. Again, that fugitive from justice from New Orleans back in custody, captured here in Southwest Atlanta, Tom, this afternoon.
Incredible. So many incredible facets to this story. What New Orleans officials originally characterized as a historic escape by these 10 men
I
back
said
in
that.
May.
That definitely was a historic escape.
Prisoner captured.
That definitely was a historic escape. I told y'all that.
As we saw, our cameras were there and rolling as he was brought out of that house. It's incredible the speed by which authorities captured this guy. The fact that it went off without anyone being injured there. And we had calls right here into the Fox 5 Atlanta newsroom from people who lived in that neighborhood who said, hey, something might be going down here.
That's right. Those calls began coming into our newsroom early this morning, mid-morning, I should say. And Tom, I spoke to a neighbor a short time ago. She was here just beyond the police tape, waiting to be allowed to return to her home. She said she was here this morning when she heard the police activity, heard a boom. She said she heard all types of activity a few doors down from her home. She said she was surprised because she thought that the house was vacant. She said she had not seen any activity at that residence. She said this type of thing just doesn't happen in this community. She described it as a quiet community, saying she's lived here for several years. And so for something like this to happen in a home that she believed to be vacant, she, of course, has a lot of questions, just like the rest of us. She's wondering if the house was in fact vacant, or perhaps if someone actually did live at the home, perhaps left the area for some time to assist Groves possibly, and then return here with him, where he, apparently was hiding out at this residence, or at least was at the residence today. Again, that's just speculation on the neighbor's part. We do not know. Tom, police are going to hold a news conference shortly nearby to provide more details on this ongoing operation and investigation.
Well, we'll certainly be there for that. Deidre, thanks for that live report. Speaking of news conferences, want to get you right to New Orleans, where there's a news conference happening right now among officials there about this capture of this last prison inmate that escaped back in May. Let's listen in.
Fair and the U.S. Marshal Service. The U.S. Marshal Service has just really gone above and beyond when we have multi-jurisdictional issues. There have been a number of cases in which they've weighed in quite heavily, working with the NOPD and all of our federal and state and local partners and Troop NOLA to try to find him when he was here. Obviously, they had a bit of a lead time, and when that was reported to law enforcement partners and the press, and he was able to make good his escape for 5 months. But I think you may remember Brian Fair saying a number of times, Derrick Groves has to get lucky every single time, and law enforcement has to get lucky once. And that happened today, thank God.
And the fact that all of these inmates were recovered or taken custody without any injury, were shot away.
I think a lot of people were. We speak for myself. I was deeply concerned that someone that had been convicted of a double homicide and was supposed to be in Angola would not go easily. I was afraid that there would be loss of life, whether it be civilian or law enforcement. And I don't think we thank Derrick Groves for that. I think we thank God for that, that he was taken into custody without injury.
Well, DA, if you could, I know this is sort of the very beginning. I mean, Derrick Groves captured, that's one thing, but how did he get to Atlanta? And if he had any help along the way, that's something that investigators are going to be looking into.
Look, I'm not going to, I don't spend too much time on this because these folks are here to celebrate a monumental accomplishment for the city of New Orleans, just as this arrest was. Obviously, Chris, if you go to Atlanta later on today, you're going to have some help. Whether it's Uber driver, whether it's getting some gas, whether it is catching a flight. He obviously had some help. And there will be a thorough investigation to any and everybody that helped him along the way, in whatever parish or whatever county that assistance came.
Last question, what charging decisions do you have?
I don't want to address that at this point, Paul. A little too soon. But thank you all for being here today to focus on 31-1 Burgundy Street. We're standing here at what appeared to the public to be a retail business called Culture Fashion. Today I stand with
New Orleans District Attorney Jason Williams talking about the arrest of Derrick Groves, the last of 10 prison inmates that escaped from the New Orleans prison system last May. He was in jail awaiting a life sentence at the time of the jailbreak for 2 counts of second-degree murder. He was captured in the East Point area by SWAT officials and led out of that building. There is the moment that Derrick Groves was led out of that house, hands tied behind his back by the SWAT team who captured him. The district attorney, for his part, saying that he's surprised that it didn't go down without any injuries or loss of life. After all, Groves is awaiting a life sentence and was at the time of his break, and that he was convinced that Groves wouldn't go, quote, easily. Well, it appears he was taken into custody without incident today in our own area here in Atlanta of what authorities described as a historic jailbreak that happened back in New Orleans back in May. We want to show you some live pictures there of the scene. There are microphones set up. We're waiting the Atlanta Police Department to approach to sort of tell us how all of this went down. So many unanswered questions here in terms of how Derrick Groves got to our area. Did he have an enabler? Did he have help? These are all the sorts of questions that authorities are going to be working through, especially in New Orleans, where he'll undoubtedly be extradited to officials there to face new charges now of escaping from prison as he awaited his sentencing. Well, culminated in the start of our stream here at 3 p.m. We've been live on the scene in East Point, where in dramatic fashion, the last of 10 men who escaped a New Orleans prison is now recaptured. He was awaiting a life sentence at the time of the jailbreak for 2 counts of second-degree murder and 2 separate manslaughter convictions. We heard from the district attorney out in New Orleans not too long ago in a live news conference. We are now set up waiting to hear from Atlanta police as to how this capture went down. How did they know that Derrick Groves was hiding out inside that house? How did he get there? Was he enabled by anyone? These are all the questions hopefully reporters there assembled at this news conference are going to ask Atlanta police if they happen to know the answers. But now, gratefully, Derrick Groves is back in police custody. He was walked out of the house earlier today, something that you saw streaming here with us in the 3 p.m. hour. This is video of that happening. Our cameras were there and rolling as the capture took place. The district attorney saying that he's grateful that this didn't go down in a very different way as Derrick Groves feared for his life in this life sentence. Let's listen to Atlanta police as they begin this news conference.
Task force, in conjunction with the Atlanta Police Department and the Clayton County Police Department, were able to take Derrick Groves, 28 years old, into custody here at Honeysuckle Lane. Mr. Groves was wanted for escape from the Orleans Parish Jail in May of this year. He was convicted earlier in the state of Louisiana for 2 counts of murder. We are so thankful for the bravery and courage of all the officers involved in this operation. He is the 10th of 10 individuals to be taken into custody from the Orleans Parish incident.
Everyone, we don't have a lot of information that we can provide, but we will allow for some.
What challenges did you face trying to get him out of there? See, the SWAT did a lot of damage to the home.
That's correct. Our SWAT team, with all their training and experience, they were able to bring him out. We deployed a number of canisters of gas to help move him throughout the house, which he moved to the basement of the house. Soon after, Clayton County K-9 was deployed in the crawl space of the location and found him in that crawl space.
Can you talk to us about how you even knew he was here? Was this a tip that came in? How did you guys find him?
No, I can't talk about that. Maybe the U.S. Marshal Service can talk about that.
Is that something you can talk about? Is this the house? Hold on for me 1 second. Please allow me to finish. Is that something you can address?
Briefly, not
you can come to the mic. This is Frank Limka. I will give you the spelling of his name afterwards. But this is Frank Limka with the U.S. Marshal Southeast Regional Task Force.
So ever since the escape, which was in May, the U.S. Marshals in New Orleans, along with several other departments, started basically a task force just for this case and have spent thousands of hours working tons of leads. We can't say exactly what brought us here, but it was a very thorough investigation, mainly by our New Orleans marshals, and then they sent us information which we corroborated and was able to locate him at this location.